From the pages of Nigeria's top newspapers to your radio.
It's from the Dailies, your early morning
security, health, society. Nothing escapes the spotlight.
This is your head start into Nigeria's biggest stories of the day. From the Dailies, news that talks to you. Only on Melody 107.7 FM, Lagos.
From the Dailies, on your favorite radio station. Melody 107.7 FM. Stay.
A very pleasant morning to you where we are tuned in across the globe because we are not just serving our terrestrial audience, we are also on our online platforms on Facebook and YouTube. It's another refreshing edition of From the Dailies on the radio station, Melody 107.7 FM, where we get to take you through stories that made it to the front pages and inner pages of legitimate Nigerian newspapers that we could lay our hands on. And I am Matthew Oluwasegun Ijabiken. As always, you can call me MY. And I'm not doing this alone.
All right, a pleasant morning to you all. Happy new week. This is a new week. It's a time, opportunity to do new things, to go ahead of yourself and do what you ought to do. Welcome to today's edition of From the Dailies, of course, where we get to give you an abreast of what is going across the nation. Israeli is my name and you're welcome once again. Let's get right to it and see what the news is saying this morning.
All right, for my end, I have Vanguard as well as the Guardian newspapers.
I'll be taking you through the Punch newspaper this morning as well as the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Do not forget you can join us live on our Facebook page, Melody 1077, or you can call into the studio line this morning whenever you have stories that resonate with you. You can call via 0906 201 1077, 0906 201 1077, or you can dial 0704 800 1077. Let's get right to it this morning. Matthew, let's start with you.
All right, with the big bold one on the Vanguard newspaper front page, why Adeleke won again in Osun. And that's a few kickers on the radar division in the APC. The second kicker says Governor Adeleke's regular payments of salaries. INEX conduct prompt upload of results on iRev. Adeleke declares no victor, no vanquished. Clashes with the Keyamo over support for Tinubu. All of this for details on page 5. And above the masthead, EFCC recovers US $60 million in ongoing Nest Oil investigation. Okay, moving on. Imports choke textile industry. Rise to 1.1 trillion naira in 2 years. Away from that, concession of King's College. Parents mobilize for protests. All right, away from that, a ranching plan sparks a fresh war between Governor Alia, PDP. Opposition parties must bury eagles to defeat APC in 2027, and that's credited to Donald Duke. And then, 2027, I'm not bothered about spare tire tag for VPs, and that's credited to Kwankwaso. You can find all of this in details on the Vanguard newspaper this morning.
All right, Matthew, what were your observations for the election in Osun State this past Saturday? Quite a lot of tension. Quite a lot of things happened, both online, virtually, and many of those things like that. What were your observations?
Well, my observations is that I can find out that Adeleke, you understand, is the people's choice. Not that I am, because after all, I'm not from Osho State, and it's not as if I'm his fan. Do you get it? But from what I could see is that they kind of like him, understand? And this is also evident by some things I also took now, that they said he pays their salaries regularly, understand? So and there have been testimonies about the things that have happened since he assumed office. Do you get it? So anyway, what I could pick out of that is that he's the people's man.
Yeah, he's the people's man. I followed the election closely from the very onset of the distribution, INEC going to some of these things like that. And I think one of the things that was loud about Osun was their choice. They did not hide it, even though they were collecting money. In fact, many of them took money from the other parties and then told publicly, affirmed that we collected your money, even though you laid it, because there was a video circulating of Ijabiken, and even during the election, you can say, no, it cannot be like that, and all of those dramas.
And another thing I'm also happy about is that it was each free. We didn't have records because I was really
we lost about 30% in the state.
That was prior to the
election.
You get what I'm saying? Well, on the D-Day, I was expecting that if all of this happened, before the election, and then on the particular day of the election, I was expecting some. Maybe not in that number, but at least maybe close to that number. But then, so far, there has been.
I think not really Nigerians need to learn from Osun. Nigerians really need to learn from Osun. Number one,
imagine.
I've never, and the track record in Osun State, people are not really motivated to go and vote because maybe they don't have their choices amongst those that are the flag bearers. But they mentioned that the tenure before, the tenure of before Aregbesola now, that one came and sacked their parents. During the tenure of Aregbesola, he splitted their salary, which was even hard to get. During the time of Oyetola, after Aregbesola is now Oyetola. After Oyetola, what he did was to give them promotion on letter. It was not something that was implemented. Now Oyetola came and a lot of things changed. You can tell many people wrote online many different things, and kudos to Davido and many of the campaign manager for Accord Party. They did a lot online. They were sending. Everybody was actually updated on Davido. You don't need to watch any news. This thing, you were seeing everything. He was calling out names. He was tagging people that were about to do things and all of those things. When at the point they stopped uploading the results into IRF portal, he still posted it. Delay means that you are trying to manipulate something and all of that. And kudos to the youth of Osun. They did, most of the time in the election,
it's going on to show that we are becoming to be more politically literate now.
Of course.
So people that cannot just come and buy our conscience, on a platter of what's it called, a bucket of rice.
It was in the middle of the night that those governors that went to Osun State left Osun State. That's the Senate president, that's Akpabio, the Monday Okpebolo, and the likes like that. Senator went to, and the belief was that since they are there, APC is going to win because they are there to do so many things. And you could see that the people of Osun, they stood their ground. They did not. They were not oppressed. I'm telling you, I was surprised at some instances like they were. Many times the rigging happened overnight.
APC has more governors, in
the state,
of
course.
And all of them, or virtually all of them, were present at the election.
Almost all of them were there too. And is the city state for Mr. President. That's where that's his home state and all of those things. And you could see the youth. Rigging happened overnight. These people did not live in they were there, like whatever you want to do it in our presence. Let's see if things will not scatter. And then I kind of learned a lot of things from that very, very thing. Many persons have been saying that Osun governorship election is a litmus test for.
Yes, 2027
I choose to differ. Differ. There are lessons we can pick from it, but you can't use that as a litmus test for a presidential election. Meanwhile, I saw a post. I saw a post because I was following some of these things back to back. I wish I could lay hold on it this morning, but I can't remember the particular name of the person that posted it. It was part of the Accord Party, and he said something that many people believed that APC wanted to rig the election. He said they could have if they wanted to without without considering the consequences. He now said, think about it. And then, think about it means that they could have done it, but part of what limited them was the fact that the choice of the people was loud enough to overthrow and make it obvious that if anything go wrong, something and the attention of the international body were already on Osun State. The video had called President Trump, he has called on CNN and many of those things to pay close attention. And he was leveraging on his influence and did a lot of things over there. Number two, now he said that a system, even if you won an election, if a system that is against you acknowledge that you won the election, shouldn't you give accolades to that system? Think about it. These are some things that it take time to.
And you don't think this can also be replicated for the 2027 election?
It can, but well, I'm not a politician. I'm just saying that we have to just do way better than what happened in
of course.
If we have people who will stand for democracy, and many of them were thanking president, you could say that the president called Ademola Adeleke before it was declared to congratulate him.
Yes.
There were some of those things. That means some of these things are not happening behind. It was obvious that he won and they allowed it. They could have disallowed it. There are many elections that other people have won in this country and you could tell that they changed it, some of which you know of.
Yes.
So these are things that...
This margin was obvious that even if it were to be rigged,
trust me,
and people will still know that.
Trust me that when I say that many of the people that voted in Osun, when they said that they are surprised as to the numbers of the people that voted for APC, they said it's not possible. They said it's not possible that it was let's leave that we are not politicians, but we are appreciating congratulating the people of Osun, because you could see it has been a while I've seen people dance after election. Trust me, you can see the dancing, you can see the joy, jubilation, Ilesha, Oshogbo. People were so happy that when they declared it, before they even declared it, and they've gathered all of their this, and I think one thing we also have to learn from Adeleke's group of people is that the person I said posted, because I was following everything back to back, was that aside from that, he's a joyful person. Aside from that, he has done his work. Most of his work was speaking for him, not money at the Dailies.
Even most of the interviews that he has granted, he always referred to the things he has done.
He has done. Yes. Number two, then number three. Now, the person did not fail to mention that Adeleke had structures to win this election. Many times, as Nigerians, we are just sentimental and believe that if we say we are popular online, we believe that is all. There were structures that you could see that during the election, it was working for him. They asked him throughout that, are you confident that you will win this election? He was super confident and saying that 100% is very sure, not moved. Not even after the election, he was interviewed and he said, at some point, were you afraid that you will lose it? He said, never. And these structures were so hard, were so structured. Nothing stands without systems and structures. Just kudos to him, and we hope that he will do better in the second tenure, and the people of Osun will continue to laugh. And we hope that as Osun people have laughed, Nigerians will laugh again. All right, so let's move away from that story. Let me take my story now from the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning. All right, ASU clears 2 varsities for strike over failed 2025 agreement. I think this is the point of discussion, but let me finish my headlines. Top 5 transactions that attract withheld Nigerians in tax. On another note on page 24, El Rufai sues ICPC for allegedly denying his family access to him. And in Osun, the lead story for many of us, for many newspapers over the week till this moment says how Adeleke won. You read all of those details, you can see wow, the jubilation, not jubilation, wowed. When they call something wowed, you can imagine how that jubilation says. We are studying election results, APC. On another note, 2027 Accord, AAC SDP presidential candidate join force against Tinubu. NADDC, NYSC flags of CNG retrofilling training for 300 core members nationwide. All of these stories you'll find across the pages of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning. Point of discussion: ASU clears 2 varsities for strike over failed 2025 agreement. Why does ASU continues to fight? Federal government continues to make promises and they continue to fail. Like I always say, some of these things are not skyrocketed. Before you make any promises, before you go into any agreements, check some of the things that you will use. What are the things we have to put in place to make sure we achieve some of these things? But then schools now going on strike again in such seasons like this is not something we should really be seeing or hearing of in Nigeria. So these are some of the things that traumatized the growth of many persons in Nigeria, is that they were in schools and they were going a 5-year course, a 7-year course. Some were spending 10 years, some were spending 13 years. And then, if we continue to have some of these things, although it has gone to the barest minimum at the moment, but then it's not something that we should really look forward to.
In this 21st century, 2026, I don't expect that the issue of strike should still be lingering in Nigeria.
Should not.
And it goes on to say that we are not prioritizing the welfare of our future leaders, because at the end of the day, it's the children that will suffer for it.
Actually.
And then, as the saying goes, that an idle hand is the devil's workshop. So when these children are not engaged, then they take to social vices, and they become They become a threat to the society.
I just remember the quote right now by is it Billy Graham right now, that all men faces temptation, but all temptation faces an idle man. Let me leave that. So if you want to listen to that again, you go and watch it on Facebook. But the meaning of that is that if you still idle, you face every kind of temptation, not just some, not few, and all of those things. We really do not want, not even adults, not to talk of children. That is why some of them are introduced to some things that are not really pleasant to the ear. Let's go ahead with your next okay, you've completed that. That's it. Let me come down to the Punch newspaper this morning. El Rufai demands family access 10 billion naira damages from ICPC. Adeleke extend olive branch. APC moves tribunal challenge. All right, that you'll find on the Punch newspaper this morning. Also, banks fintech flag 42,082 suspicious transactions to NFIU. Osun woman found dead with severed hand inside church. That you will also find on page 5 of the Punch newspaper this morning. And as always, not always now, as it has been for all the newspaper this morning, you can find the results of the election for the 2026 Osun election, the local government, and the votes for each of the parties, especially the leading parties, that's the Accord Party and the APC. Quite a number of them this morning, but the one that let me just take a few. Boluwaduro, Accord is having over 7,000. APC is also having over 7,000. But then Accord won significantly in Ede South, one in Ede North, one in Ife South, Ife North, Ife Central, Ife East, Ilesha West. And then they won quite a lot of local governments just because of our time. And in Iwo, for the first time, APC lost in Iwo. APC has never lost in Iwo since 1999. And then for the first time, they are losing to Accord Party in 2026 as a result of the election. All right, those are stories across the pages of the Punch newspaper this morning.
Then one of the stories you took, the headline, Osun woman found dead with severed hand inside church. Now, I'm beginning to ask, why is church now a target for what's it called, for hoodlums? Let me put it that way. Because in the last, I think since about 2022, although maybe in the north, but about 2022, down to this point in time, we've been having series of that in the southwest here, attacks in the churches. Because we used to see churches, as a sacred place, which is what it's meant to be. But then why is it now a target for people to be attacking others? So should church now not be a safe place? Because I remember in those days when you are stranded on the road, maybe for some reasons you cannot get to your destination early enough, and it's already nightfall. The first places that comes to your mind is probably you go to the nearest police station to pass the night, or the nearest filling station, or the nearest church or mosque. You understand? But then why should that now be a place where people's lives cannot, find safety?
Well, they are not. Let me just take the details of that story so that at least we can have a clear distinct. But the network is really not very good this morning. But then one thing I would like to say about that is that they have to let's know the findings first. Number one, it could have been that they just said the woman was found dead. Not that the allegation was not that the church killed the woman, was not that the church was the one responsible. It could have anything could have happened.
Responsible. I'm saying that
why is the church? Of course, some of these things are.
That environment was where the attack must have, been taking place.
Of course. So we hope the right institutions now, especially the police force, will carry out their findings, and then the right judgments will be implemented.
Okay, now let me take this one lastly it's on the Guardian newspaper, I beg your pardon. Okay, with the big bold one, Osun polls, opposition's victory relieves people's power, raises stake for APC in 2027, and that's in details on page 6. Moving on, gunmen kill 4 in Benue as troops repel attack on a Borno military base. That's on page 9 for details. Aero5 files fresh a 10 billion naira suit against ICPC for allegedly denying family access to him. Okay, stop blaming past governments for refineries woes, Atiku tells Tinubu, and that's on page 3 for details. Osun Post, Makinde NGF, ADC Uriwa Yaga Africa congratulates Adeleke. That's on page 3 for details. Resident doctors unveiled new work regulation to check burnout. All right, okay, we have this one as well. BOI, that is Bank of Industries Meeting Development, bond oversubscribed in 5 days. Okay, above the masthead, EFCC recovers $60 million in ongoing next one investigation. All of this in details on the Guardian newspaper for this morning.
All right, finally this morning, let me take it from the Nation newspaper this morning. Africa pushes for new finance model for food security. You find that on the Nation newspaper this morning. We really need that because Africa should be a place where food will not go to scarcity, because election what's it called now? Scarcity is beginning to loom in, and the rate people are clamoring to get food to even eat one square meal is really alarming. So we really need that in Africa generally. On another note, Lagos to expand specialist health care capacity with Ojo Somolu Hospital. No Enugu APC candidate will struggle to win poll in 2027. You want to find out? We're saying that you refer to the Nation newspaper this morning. Then our President Tinubu called Adeleke at 2 a.m. to congratulate him. Laide Bakari celebrates Adeleke's re-election as Osun State establishment of Army Battalion. My claims to accord national chairperson position backed by court order says Imumelen